My name is Cayson. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I grew up in the church, and my parents were both in church leadership. I was involved but expected to already know kind of who Christ was, and finally got connected to the gospel when I was in my junior year of high school, when my Bible teacher, apart from all things in a public high school, presented the gospel to me. Me ending up in Lynchburg was not planned at all. My parents both graduated from Clemson, and I wanted to pursue a degree in architecture. My senior year, right as I finished up, God closed all the doors for those opportunities and just somehow brought me here to Lynchburg. I was on Facebook one day, and all of a sudden Liberty University pops up, and I knew it was an opportunity for me to advance my career. Somehow everything fell into line 3 weeks before I was actually supposed to move on campus. So I came to Blue Ridge back in January of 2021. It was my first time stepping on campus, first time hearing about Blue Ridge, and I had a friend who had already gone here who had invited me to church. She was already serving in the youth and just loved what they were doing there. And at one point I was just convicted, and so the genuine curiosity kind of piqued and was I wonder if I started getting plugged in and serving, would it be different? I'd always hung out with youth and always grown up with it. My parents kind of had taken over the youth program whenever we were in transition of youth pastors, and so I'd always been involved in serving in that capacity there. So I just sent a general email to Samantha to see, hey, is this something that you guys are in need for? And didn't really expect to hear a response back. Got a response back the next day. Come in, have a conversation with us, and let's just hear your story. And so from that point on, everything just fell into place. Eric, the Next Steps pastor, came and had a conversation about where he needed help in youth ministry. He needed a middle school leader to come in at 8:30 in the morning and to just sit and to have conversations with a bunch of middle schoolers. In actuality, 8:30 in the morning with youth is a rough season. But over time, it was about just being committed to just staying in the season that I felt like God had called me to. Doors started becoming open for me to step up and to serve with larger groups in middle school, to serve at Watermarks Camp summer with the high school, and to just experience a whole different group of people and mentors. The story was just so great of how God was working in and through the mission of this church that I wanted to share the story. And so I just started telling the story. I didn't invite people. I didn't have the elaborate hey, you should come serve here. It was a conversation of how God is moving in and through Blue Ridge, and the dream and the vision that God has placed on my life to be a part of this church. And it ignited people's passion to come and to just see what it was about. And the same situation happened to where they reached out to Samantha and Eric. It just became a spiral effect of they were just sharing that story, and more people were sharing that story. And by the end of it, I had half of my residence hall who was coming and serving in BR Youth. Serving has changed my mindset of what church is. For a while, I thought church was more of a sit and take mentality, but in reality, we see the Great Commission to tell us to go and make disciples. And the next generation is the present and future leaders of the church. And serving was an opportunity for me to go and fulfill that through what God has called me to.